Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we have another lesson on Mega Goal 6. But before we start it, let's take a quick recap of the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, on in Unit 6, we've had a listening lesson. We focused on the listening part in this page and we've learned some techniques. These techniques are used to enhance your understanding of what you hear. It also helps you to do better in any listening exam or exercises that you have in your school. For example, we've talked about the best way to enhance your listening skill is that you expose yourself to the English language. You listen to any material in English as much as possible because that raises your awareness towards the language and helps you understand better. But when it comes to answering the exams and the exercises, you can always start by reading the question, understanding what should you do, what is your task, or what is the task. After that, after you know what is the task, you go ahead and delve into the details and try to understand or try to get what are the pieces of information that you have to pick from the recording that you're going to listen to. After determining what pieces of information do you need, once you hear the recording, you can pick up your pencil, start listening, take notes, and don't panic if you miss some of the words. Because it's fine if you miss one or two words or if you don't understand some of them, because the most important thing is that you get the main idea and you get the pieces of information that you're looking for. In the previous lesson, we listened to a conversation between two people and they were talking about things they have lost. The first one, or the first person, lost a parrot and the second one lost a phone, and we've listened to the story that accompanied each one of them. After that, we have this part, 6 and 7, pronunciation and vocabulary building. This is our lesson today. Before we start talking about the technique that we are going to learn today, let's ask ourselves a question. Why do we study pronunciation? Or what is the meaning of pronunciation? Pronunciation means the way we say or the way we utter a word. The way we say a word is called pronunciation. Okay? So why do we study pronunciation? We study it to be able to understand what we hear. So when you go and listen to any person who speaks English or who is a native speaker, you will be able to understand what they say. And also, after that, you can speak properly. Today, or in every pronunciation lesson, we learn a technique that can help us enhance our listening. Today, we are going to focus on the H letter. The H sound is often left out. What is the meaning of left out? Left out means removed, not pronounced, not uttered once we say the word. The H sound is often left out at the beginning of the first one, the pronouns like he, her, him, and his. The second thing, the auxiliary verbs like have, has, and had. So once we find these words, the pronouns and also the auxiliary verbs, once we run into them in any sentence, the H at the beginning of these words is usually or often left out. It's fine, it's correct if you say it, but it's also correct if you leave it out. Let's take an example. Number one, by the time I came outside to check on him, he was gone. Number two, I spent an hour looking for him around the neighborhood, but couldn't find him. Number three, it was a woman in one of our classes. Number four, the most important thing I've ever lost was my cell phone. And the last one, number five, she said a woman had found it on the beach. So if you noticed that we left out all the H's in the auxiliary verbs and also in the pronouns. You can pause the video right now, take some time to practice, to repeat these sentences and try leaving out each one of these H's. After that, we have vocabulary building. We have 6 words on the right side and we have 6 definitions, explanations and synonyms for these words. These words are taken or extracted from the essay that we are going to have in the next class, but to be able to understand what do each one of these words mean, we will listen to this essay together and try to guess the meaning of each one of these words. Because if you listen to the word, if you take it as an individual word, sometimes you can't understand it because it's a new word for you. But when you read this word within a context, that makes it easier for you to understand the word from within the context. So right now, we're going to go ahead and listen to the essay and try to get the meaning and guess the meaning of each one of these 6 words. The first one of them is accustomed. Number 2, appraiser. Number 3, astronomer. Number 4, authentic. Number 5, stumble upon. Number 6, wedged. Now we will go ahead to the following page. We have an essay that is titled, Look What I Found. We're going to listen to some interesting stories about lucky people, and we will try to guess the meaning of the previous 6 words. So now pick up your pen, annotate if necessary. Annotate means write the notes that you think that they can help you. For example, if you guess the meaning of identity, if you are not sure, you can write down what are your guesses for the meaning of this word. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start listening to the essay.
Pages 88 and 89. 8. Reading.
Look what I found. We are accustomed to hearing announcements of important discoveries made by experts. For example, no one was surprised that it was an archaeologist who discovered Tutankhamun's tomb or an astronomer who spotted Neptune. But every once in a while, the most astonishing discoveries are made by ordinary people. Take, for example, the story of the Philadelphia man who, in 1989, made a historic discovery in a flea market. The man, whose identity was never made known, bought an old painting at the flea market for $4. He did not like the painting, but bought it because he liked the frame. When he got the painting home and took it out of the frame, he was surprised to discover a folded-up document wedged between the painting and the backing of the frame. The document appeared to be an old copy of the American Declaration of Independence. Taking a friend's advice, the man took the document to a professional appraiser where he received incredible news. The document was one of the original copies from the first printing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. There were only 24 other such copies known to be in existence. The man put this incredibly rare document up for sale and found a buyer for $2.42 million. Terry Horton had a similar experience in 1987. Horton was looking through a thrift shop one day when she came across a painting that she thought was one of the ugliest things she had ever seen. She decided to buy it for a friend as a joke gift. She bargained the $8 price of the painting down to $5 and dragged the huge painting to her friend's home. However, The friend refused to take the painting because she thought it was too big and ugly. Horton took the painting home and organized a garage sale where she hoped to get rid of it. A local art teacher happened to be passing by and saw the painting. She told Horton that the painting looked like it had been painted by Jackson Pollock, a famous 20th century painter whose paintings sell for millions of dollars. Horton had the painting evaluated by experts, many of whom agreed with the art teacher. Since then, Horton has devoted herself to proving that her painting is authentic. She has gained many supporters along the way, including a powerful art dealer. She has had numerous offers to buy the painting, including one for $9 million, but has refused each one. Horton is confident that eventually the art world will accept the painting as an authentic Pollock. If and when this happens, the painting could be worth over $50 million. Perhaps the single most historic discovery made by a non-expert in recent years was made by an unemployed British man named Terry Herbert. Herbert is an amateur treasure hunter who searched fields and back lots with his metal detector for over 18 years. In all those years, Herbert had never found anything of significant value. But it is a good thing he was so persistent. In September of 2009, while using his metal detector on the land of a friend's farm, the detector started beeping wildly. Herbert started digging and soon discovered that he had struck gold, literally. He had stumbled upon the largest Anglo-Saxon treasure ever found. The treasure consisted of 11 pounds of gold and 5 pounds of silver in the form of over 1,500 ornaments, swords, and other weapons. Experts believe this find will give us a much greater understanding of the Anglo-Saxons, the rulers of England from the 5th century until 1106. They also believe that this discovery will be considered one of the most important discoveries in British archaeological history. The treasure, the value of which will be determined by a committee of experts, will be sold to a museum. The money from this sale will be split evenly between Herbert and the friend who owns the field where Herbert made the discovery. Herbert says that this experience has been more fun than winning a prize. So the next time you pass a garage sale or thrift store, or are clearing out junk from your attic, take a careful look. Who knows what unimagined treasures you may discover?
Okay, now let's go back to the vocabulary building. We have 6 words on the left side of the page, and we have 6 definitions or explanations for these words. Now let's start with explaining these words, then after that we will go ahead and match them together. Number 1, the word accustomed. What is the meaning of accustomed? When you are or when you do something regularly, that means you are accustomed to that thing. Number 2, appraiser. Appraiser is someone that is expert or someone who is a specialist in determining the value of some things. For example, if you have a medal, a golden medal that you want to know its value, you take it to the appraiser and he tells you or she tells you how much does this piece worth. Number 3, astronomer. Astronomer is a person who is interested on the knowledge of the outer space, like the stars, other planets, and so on. Number 4, the word authentic. Authentic means something original, something that doesn't have many copies, or it doesn't have many, let's say, versions. Number 5, stumble upon. Stumble upon. If you stumble upon something, that means you find it or you run into it by accident. For example, you say, after stumbling upon my friend, I did this and that. Okay? So the word stumble upon means run into something or someone. The last one, the word wedged. means something stuck between two things. Something that is stuck between two things. Okay, now let's go ahead. Or you can pause the video right now, take some time, do the exercise by your own, then after that, resume the video to check the answers with us. Number one, the word accustomed. We said that if you do something regularly, that means you are accustomed to it. So the answer is D, used to. Number two, appraiser, a person who tells you the value of something, how much does it worth? So the answer is A, someone who determines the value of something. Number three, astronomer, a person who is interested or a scientist who studies outer space. The answer is F. Number four, authentic, something original, something real. The answer is B. Number five, stumble upon is find something or someone by chance. And the last word and last part of our lesson today is wedged, which means stuck between two things. The answer is C. This is the last part of our lesson today. Thank you all for attending, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the day. Assalamu alaikum.